There was no emergency that endangered the lives of Canadians or threatened the sovereignty of Canada. This was political overreach. This was a political emergency, not national.
We all know the Prime Minister, right from the get-go, was demonizing and dividing the country and radicalizing these individuals, calling them all kinds of nasty names. And again, conduct, in my view, unbecoming of a Prime Minister of a G7 country.
Let me be very clear. My principal concern when it comes to the illegal occupation and the illegal blockades is the economic harm that was done to Canada.
Let me be very clear, Minister Freeland. Your words several times in the House referred to terrorism funding and money laundering. Are you saying you didn't use those words?
I am speaking here today, and I am talking about the central motivation of our very serious actions.
And I'm here to ask you questions, and I expect, unlike question period, I expect a response. In the course of several lawyers asking you questions, you confirmed that at no point in time did you or any member of your organization request the Government of Canada to invoke the Emergencies Act. And you accept that particular statement today here at committee, correct?
Yes, sir, I do.
Minister Mendocino, Minister for Public Safety, on 13 occasions in the House of Commons, at various committees, during media reports, to the press, television, indicated that law enforcement, including the OPP, specifically asked for the invocation of the Emergencies Act. Now, both statements can't be true. You'd agree with me that someone is lying.
Well, and
you're not lying, sir.
I
so
am not,
Minister you would agree with me, Minister Mendocino is lying to Canadians.
Well, I can tell you that I am telling you the absolute truth, sir. At no point did I provide or request that the Emergencies Act be invoked.
If you knew he was misconstruing those words, why didn't you inform Minister Mendocino to clarify that in the House or to clarify that in the public?
I serve the minister, and I'm not at liberty to discuss the advice I provide him, but I can tell you that I think he was misunderstood. And I believe that the intention that he was trying to express was that law enforcement asked for the tools that were contained in the Emergencies Act.
So it wasn't just Minister Mendocino who was misconstrued or misunderstood. It was the Prime Minister. It was Minister Blair. It was Minister Lametti. It was probably members of the Liberal caucus who all used that same talking point that law enforcement asked for it. Was the entire government misunderstood, Mr. Stewart? Canadians want transparency here. I also want to highlight a comment that our Prime Minister made to our House of Commons on February the 9th, that protest funds were linked to crime. We are working very hard with partners at different levels of government to make sure that the flow of funds through criminal activities is intercepted. You would agree with me, ma'am, that my review of all the evidence that you have given so far by way of Finance Committee, as well as the interview with the Public Order Emergency Commission, there is no evidence that any of the funds originating to your platform were proceeds of crime.
That is correct.
Would you agree with me that either the Prime Minister has a significant problem with his memory, or he deliberately and intentionally misled the Rouleau inquiry?
I believe that's a pejorative question. I won't answer it.
Justice Minister Lametti testified at the inquiry that the government didn't use the legal definition within the Emergencies Act, but rather used their own reasons, but could not release it due to solicitor and client privilege. You're aware of that?
I did not see all of Minister Lametti's testimony.
You're aware that no government official, all the ministers and the Prime Minister, are talking about solicitor and client privilege as a basis for not releasing those legal opinions. You're certainly aware of that.
Solicitor client
Thank
privilege.
you. Last question. Do you agree with me that the government response of just trust us, we acted in good faith when invoking the Emergencies Act, is the complete opposite of being open and transparent with Justice Rouleau, but most importantly with Canadians. Do you agree with that statement or not?
Solicitor-client privilege is a long-standing protocol in
Do
this
you agree with
country.
that statement, ma'am?
Solicitor-client privilege.
Do you agree, yes or no?
I'm not answering that.
Thank you.
And this all goes back to the evidence that we have heard on this committee. There is nothing so far that we have reviewed, nothing that we have heard by way of testimony that it would seem to indicate that there was a legal basis for the invocation of this particular act.
The Liberal MPs, with the support of Liberal senators, voted down our Conservative motion that requested the legal opinions that Justin Trudeau relied upon to invoke the Emergencies Act.
We need to pursue getting those documents to this committee and then in turn giving those documents to the Public Order Commission as well.
Yeas 5, nays 5.
Procedurally, on a 5-5, the motion fails.
Canadians demand transparency on this matter. Parliamentarians, and most importantly, you deserve to know the truth. Frankly, from the very beginning, we all knew it was Justin Trudeau's political emergency and not a national emergency.